Chapter 51 The First Battle of the Inner Palace, the Target List. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Speaking of this, Xuanhuan thought of something and said with a little pride. Su Ba, did you know that Qin Zhouyue, the arrogant daughter of Yunmeng Wufu, just entered the 7-star Grandmaster realm and defeated the 18th-ranked genius on the Three Kingdoms elite list? Now, Qin Zhouyue is at the 16th place in the Three Kingdoms elite list. In another year and a half, Wei Biao, who ranks 4th in the Three Kingdoms elite list, our core disciple of Yunmeng Wufu, will probably be defeated by Qin Zhouyue. She can be said to be the pride of Yunmeng Wufu. As he said that, Xuanhuan glanced at Su Ba and said expectantly, Su Ba, your talent is even better than Qin Zhouyue. In the future, you will win the top of the Three Kingdoms elite list, and you will show my strength and power. Qin Zhouyue? Wei Biao. Number 1 in the Three Kingdoms elite list. Su Ba narrowed his eyes, and a light flashed quietly. It is inevitable to win the first place in the Three Kingdoms elite list in the future. But now, let's take the first place in the Inner Palace first, let's talk about it. Deacon Xuanhuan, is this my residence? Su Ba stood in front of a dilapidated log cabin and looked at the log cabin with a stunned expression. The living environment was a bit different from what he imagined. What's the difference between this and the chalet in Waifu? Isn't that the exquisite small building I saw just now, where the disciples of the Inner Palace live? Su Ba turned around, looked at the small independent buildings not far behind him, and was stunned, seemingly seeing the doubt in Su Ba's eyes. Xuanhuan explained. Su Ba, I forgot to tell you that the small building over there is where the disciples of the Inner Palace live, but only the 36 disciples who are on the list of outstanding people in the Inner Palace are eligible to live there. The strength is not enough, so I can only live in a cabin. This is also a method created by the Palace Master in order to motivate the disciples of the Inner Palace to advance bravely and forge ahead. Oh, I see. Su Ba raised his brows and said indifferently, how do you get on the list of outstanding people in the Inner Palace? Do you want to challenge it directly? Yes, the disciples of the Inner Palace can challenge the disciples on the list of outstanding people at any time. As long as they win, they can change their residence immediately. At that time, keep the ranking, and someone will change the list of outstanding people on the stone tablet in a month. Then that means, if I succeed in the challenge now, I can live in the exquisite small building over there, right? Su Ba said calmly. Yes. Xuanhuan nodded, then couldn't help saying, Su Ba, don't tell me. Deacon Xuanhuan, who lives there. Before Xuanhuan could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Su Ba, who saw Su Ba stretched out his finger and pointed at a delicate building closest to his log cabin. The one who lives there is Lu Niu, who is ranked 33rd on the list of outstanding people. The strength of the 5-star peak is extremely powerful. It is said that the strength of Lu Niu's arms has reached 20,000 kilograms not long ago. It's the heaven of body training. Hey, Su Ba, why are you going? Su Ba walked with a calm expression on his face, and said, I'll let this guy named Lu clean up the house for me, so I can live in it. What? Let Lu Niu clean up the house, do you want to live in? Xuanhuan's whole body was agitated. I rub it, big brother, you are not going to challenge Lu Niu, you have just entered the Inner Palace. Su Ba, don't be impulsive. Lu Niu's strength is not comparable to that of a disciple like Wang Hui. He is a true body training genius and a master on the list of outstanding people. Seeing Su Ba walking away, Xuanhuan hurriedly chased after him and shouted. Chapter 52 The Disciples of Outstanding Talents, Are They Very Carved? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Xuanhuan caught up with Su Ba was already standing in front of the small building. The exquisite small building brought a small courtyard. The courtyard door was tightly closed. Su Ba just wanted to kick the courtyard door open, but suddenly his brows moved, almost failed. This is my own territory soon, and I can't get through the door of my own house. Thinking about it, Su Ba took a deep breath and shouted at the small building in the courtyard. Lu Niu, come out and die. The clear voice echoed around. Xuanhuan's face turned pale and it was over, and many passers-by were immediately attracted by Su Ba's voice, and gathered around, looking a little confused. I'm going, where did the 4-star peak guy come from, why did he come to the inner palace? Does this kid have a hole in his brain? He actually came to the door to shout at the genius inner palace disciple of Renjibang. And let Lu Niu come out and die. This kid is dead. Lu Niu is a master of body training and has a bad temper. This kid is afraid that his arms will be twisted and thrown out like a dead dog, that everyone was talking about it, and it felt a little funny. At this time, the compound opened with a bang, and a burly man with a physique as strong as an ox rushed out. Who is yelling at Laozi's door? Lu Niu's expression was gloomy, and a pair of copper bells and big eyes suddenly shot in all directions, and immediately saw Su Ba standing in front of him. It's you? Lu Niu's eyes widened, gloomy breath spurted out, and an intimidating aura came over him. That's right, it's me. Su Ba's expression didn't change, he put his hands on his back, looked at Lu Niu and said lightly. Don't say I don't give you face, take a stick of incense time, put away your things, get out. As soon as the voice fell, everything was quiet. The onlookers looked at each other, what was this kid saying? Let Lu Niu pack up, get out. Is it because of their auditory hallucinations, or something else? At this time. After listening to Lu Niu, he was also stunned. When he came back to his senses, he couldn't help but want to laugh a little. Boy, I have seen madness, but I have never seen you so mad. Where is it that you are itchy? Come to the door and let Laozi loosen your muscles and bones. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Su Ba stood with his hands behind his back and said lightly, I wipe. Lu Niu was furious, his eyes widened, and he sneered, boy, you are courting death. After he finished speaking, Lu Niu stepped forward abruptly, stretched out his hand and punched, and hit Su Ba hard. Boom! The air seemed to be blasted in an instant, and there was a piercing crackling sound. The powerful aura that burst out in that instant shocked everyone around him. It's terrifying, it's worthy of being a talented disciple of Renjia Bang. I'm afraid this Lu Niu's bull fist has improved a lot. It is said that the strength of Lu Niu's arms has reached 20,000 jin. This is the power of 2 elephants. If you hit a person, I'm afraid it will turn into a muddy flesh all of a sudden. This kid isn't hiding yet, pills. 4-star peak still dares to provoke senior brother Lu, I'm afraid I don't know how to write dead words. Huh, look, that kid doesn't even need a weapon, he's punching. Silly beep, fight against Lu Niu, where did he come from? This man hasn't finished talking yet. The next second, Su Ba's fist touched Lu Niu's fist. Boom. Click. The 2 fists intersected, and only the sound of bones breaking and a scream. Next second. I saw that Lu Niu's sturdy body quickly shot back 7 or 8 meters, smashed the courtyard door, and fell heavily to the ground. His entire right arm drooped down softly, his left hand was covering his right arm, growling in pain, on sight, quiet and weird. Chapter 53. Don't mind you calling me Ba Ba. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Niu, the genius disciple of the Nifu who is ranked 33rd on the top 5-star cultivation base, has lost. Broken arm by a punch. How can that be? The people around them all widened their eyes. You must know that Lu Ho is a well-known body training master in the inner government. His arms are as high as 20,000 jin. He usually likes to press people with force. People couldn't believe it, not to mention other people. Lu Niu couldn't believe it. The power he was so proud of, actually lost. You don't use a stick. Lu Niu fell to the ground, sweating profusely, but still looked at Su Ba blankly. Everyone also looked at Su Ba one by one. Yes, I use a stick. Why don't I use a stick? It's because I'm afraid. Su Ba said lightly, afraid? People are puzzled. Because I'm afraid that a stick will kill you. Su Ba looked at Lu Niu, and his sighing voice reverberated in everyone's ears. The expressions of everyone suddenly became strange. Because I was afraid of killing Lu Niu with a stick, I switched to using my fist. If it was before, Su Ba said so, everyone would definitely think that this kid is ignorant and bragging, but now, Su Ba smashed Lu Niu's arm with one punch and I can still remember it. So it is very likely that what Su Ba said is true, a 4-star peak disciple can smash to death a genius disciple ranked 33 on the list of outstanding people. This, everyone couldn't help but swallow their saliva, looking at Su Ba with obvious awe. Who is this man and why is he so powerful? Remember, my name is Su Ba. Seeing that he could see the meaning of everyone's eyes, Su Ba put his hands on his back, looked around at everyone and said, and then added a sentence. Of course, if you want to call me Kinder, I don't mind you calling me Ba Ba. Domineering? Oh, your sister. Baba and Dad are homophonic. Although most of the people here use the title of Dad, I still understand what Dad means. Immediately, a black line appeared on everyone's forehead, almost spitting out a mouthful of old blood. If it wasn't for Su Ba's Yue still, some of the disciples would want to rush up and have a few tricks with Su Ba. I don't care about these people. Su Ba turned around, walked a few steps to Lu Niu, and said condescendingly. I see that you are not seriously injured. It is estimated that you will not be able to pack your things. Wait for me outside, and I will pack your things for you and throw them away. After he finished speaking, Su Ba walked towards the small building. After a few steps, he suddenly stopped and turned his head to instruct. By the way, Lu Niu, you smashed the gate of my house, remember to fix it for me within a day. You. Lu Niu's face turned blue and then white, and finally saw Su Ba entering the small building, and finally couldn't help but curse in exasperation. Su Ba, don't go too far, it was you who threw me over and smashed the courtyard gate. Why should I repair it? This kid is too domineering, so unreasonable. Lu Niu is going to die. Just after finishing speaking, Su Ba's voice came from inside the small building. If I ask you to fix it, you fix it for me. If you don't talk nonsense, believe it or not, I'll flatter you. You. Lu Niu was startled, angry and fearful. A wave of grievance ran straight from the bottom of his heart to the sky, and when he was out of breath, he immediately fainted. Wow, look, brother Lu Niu passed out with anger. My God, this Su Ba is really domineering. Cough, the list of outstanding people is expected to change a lot. In the future, when I see Su Ba, I should be called Senior Brother Su. It's terrifying. I want to spread the news. A new monster has arrived in the inner palace. After everyone exclaimed, they left quickly, thinking that they had come to inform their friends. At the scene, Deacon Xuanhuan was soon left standing there, stayed like a wooden chicken, a long time. I'll go, this Su Ba, what a fucking pervert. Chapter 54. Set a small goal to be number 1 in the house within 3 months. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Well, it's much better than my cabin. Su Ba walked into the small building, looked around, nodded with satisfaction, but someone's things were a little annoying. Immediately, Su Ba turned his head and said to the servant who was standing on the side timidly. Quickly pack up Lu Niu's things and throw them out for me. It turns out that there are servants, so you don't have to clean up yourself. Not bad. Yes. The servant nodded respectfully, then did not dare to waste time, and started to put away Lu Niu's things. While cleaning up, the servant couldn't help but secretly glanced at Su Ba. His heart shook. In the past, there were also many disciples of the inner palace who came to challenge Lu Niu, but all of them were beaten by Lu Niu, crying and begging for mercy, and they ended up being miserable. Hearing Su Ba's clamor today, he originally thought that Lu Niu would still beat the challenger unceremoniously, but what he didn't expect was that Lu Niu was beaten by someone with one punch. Later, Lu Niu seemed to be dizzy and didn't dare to resist. What a terrible man. Thinking about it, the servant didn't dare to peek at it again. His body twitched, and his hands and feet became more swift. Su Ba. At this moment, Xuanhuan walked in from the door and looked at Su Ba's eyes, both complicated and awe-inspiring. Su Ba has grown up too fast. A month ago, he was the one who brought him in. He was a mid-1-star disciple, but in a blink of an eye, he became an existence that even he was about to look up to. Deacon Xuanhuan, you came just in time. the room is almost cleaned up, let's go see the alchemy elder who. Su Ba smiled lightly. Hee, okay. Xuanhuan nodded with a smile, then took out a blue waist card from his arms and handed it to Su Ba Dao. Su Ba, this is the waist card of the inner disciple, you can give me the waist card of the outer disciple. Okay. Su Ba took out the white waist card, and the two exchanged. Afterwards, Su Ba followed Xuanhuan out of the small building under the respectful gaze of his servant. On the way to the Dan Pavilion, many people secretly pointed at Su Ba. Vaguely, you can hear a lot of words such as perverted, genius, and monster. When Su Ba turned his head to look at it, the voice of the discussion instantly became much quieter, and many people immediately dispersed, leaving Su Ba speechless. Is he so scary? Su Ba, you've become famous in one battle. It seems that it won't be long before everyone will know your name in the entire inner palace, and everyone will know it. Seeing this, Xuanhuan said with a sigh. Su Ba looked calm and said lightly, Deacon Xuanhuan, you have won the prize, mainly because Lu Niu is too weak. Xuanhuan. The disciple ranked 33 on the list of outstanding people is still weak, how can you let other inner palace disciples live? After being speechless, Xuanhuan said sincerely. Su Ba, you are too modest. I am afraid that your talent has been ranked in the top 3 since the establishment of Yunmeng Wufu. At your rate of progress, it is only a matter of time before you surpass Wen Tianyu, the first in the inner palace. Wind knife Wen Tianyu? The first person in the inner sect who is about to enter the 7-star master realm. Su Ba narrowed his eyes and said casually. Okay, then, set a small goal to kill Wen Tianyu within 3 months. Bang! Xuanhuan stumbled and almost fell to the ground. He turned his head to look at Su Ba, dumbfounded. After 3 months to kill Wen Tianyu, this Su Ba is really as crazy as ever. Only Su Ba can say such words. Although Xuanhuan felt a little ridiculous, he still had some expectations unconsciously. After all, a monster like Su Ba cannot be saved by common sense. Chapter 55 Pill Pavilion, Alchemy Talent Test. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Ba, I have already conveyed your message to Elder Hu. Elder Hu is very good. I heard that someone was apprentice, but he didn't immediately refuse. He agreed to come and have a look. Dan Pavilion Hall. Xuanhuan walked over from one side and said to Su Ba, next, it depends on your own performance. After hesitating for a while, Xuanhuan reminded. Su Ba, if the talent for alchemy is not good, don't force it, return to the martial arts as soon as possible, but don't waste the martial arts. I see, thank you Brother Xia for your reminder. Su Ba folded his fists, and a sincere smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This Deacon Xuanhuan is not bad. After reminding him many times, it is for his own good. Su Ba recognized Xuanhuan in his heart. Hee, that's fine, I'll go first and get busy. Su Ba's Brother Xia made Xuanhuan's body shake, and a burst of joy instantly burst out of his heart. Although he is now the great deacon of the outer palace, and his status is a little higher than that of the average inner palace disciple, Su Ba is not an ordinary person. Not to mention that he is now a disciple of the elite list of people in the inner government, but in the future, Xuanhuan believes that Su Ba will rise faster and faster, and eventually become the super powerhouse he looks up to. Such a future superpower recognizes him and has goodwill towards him, how could Xuanhuan not be excited? Immediately, Xuanhuan was in a good mood, he was even happier than he had broken through his cultivation, and walked out of the Pill Pavilion with a blushing face. Seeing Xuanhuan's arrogant appearance from the Pill Pavilion, Su Ba smiled indifferently, then withdrew his gaze and waited for the arrival of Elder Hu. In the journey of martial arts, if you want to pursue the pinnacle of martial arts, luck, talent, and resources are indispensable. Especially in the later stage, the more resources a warrior needs to be promoted. Since alchemy is a very profitable profession, it is also a very good way for Su Ba to obtain resources. After all, it is good to go to the wild to kill alien beasts, but alien beasts cannot be lined up for him to kill. The alien beast mountain range is so big that he needs to spend part of his time looking for alien beasts, and if you become a high-grade alchemist, you can refine any elixir you need. In addition to recycling can get a lot of reinforcement points. There are also many conveniences in peacetime. furthermore, one movement and one stillness, combining work and rest. If you are bored, you can make alchemy. If you want to move your muscles and bones, you can go to the wild to dry exotic animals. It feels pretty good to think about it. Just as he was thinking, the sound of footsteps came from the side. Su Ba returned to his senses, turned his head to look, and saw an old man wearing a white robe with a clear face slowly walking towards him. This should be Elder Hu. Su Ba's eyes flickered slightly, and he clasped his fists in a salute. Su Ba greets Elder Hu. Elder Hu nodded, glanced at Su Ba, and said in a flat tone, "You are the disciple that Xia Heng recommended to me and wanted to worship me as a teacher." Xia Heng recommends. Su Ba's heart moved. It seems that this elder who did not accept apprentices casually, and it was Xia Heng, the great deacon of the foreign government, who saved a bit of face. With this in mind, Su Ba felt better about Xia Heng. Well, yes, I hope Elder Hu will be fulfilled. Su Ba quickly gathered his heart and clasped his fists again to salute Elder Hu. Elder Hu did not agree immediately, but looked at Su Ba and said lightly, "Alchemy is not something you can learn if you want to. It also depends on whether you have the talent for alchemy. Do you understand?" "Clear." "Okay, then let me see how talented you are in alchemy. Come with me," Elder Hu said, and then led the way in front. Chapter 56 Elder Hu's Shock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pill Pavilion Hall, one of the small secret rooms next door. Su Ba followed Elder Hu to enter, and saw that in the center of the secret room stood a dark black spar stone tablet with a height of 1 person. This is a stone tablet to test the talent of the soul. Elder Hu explained indifferently, then stepped forward, took out a low-grade true essence stone and placed it in the stone groove in the center of the stone tablet, put it aside, and said lightly, "If you want to become an alchemist, you must look at the strength of your soul, not your talent in martial arts. The stronger your soul, the higher your achievement limit in alchemy in the future. There are 9 squares on the spar steel. If you can light up 3 squares, it means that your soul power is qualified and you can become an alchemist. Now you come forward, lean your body on the dark black spar stone tablet, concentrate, and when you are ready, I will activate the formation." When Su Ba heard this, his heart moved. Does the talent of an alchemist depend on soul power? I see. Then, in the alien beast mountain range and the previous cabin, I had drawn a lot of soul power. I don't know how strong the soul power is, and how many squares can it light up the spar stone tablet. What's the matter? Don't ink, the old man has limited time. Elder Hu's brows wrinkled slightly unconsciously, and he spoke slightly dissatisfied. He thought to himself, if Xia Heng hadn't made a good relationship with one of his sons and nephews, he would be considered his descendant, otherwise he would be the kind of person who agreed to accept his disciples at will. However, if this kid wants to become his apprentice, if his talent is not enough, he should be dismissed as soon as possible. Oh well. Su Ba quickly returned to his senses, then stepped forward to the dark black spar stone tablet, leaned back to back, and closed his eyes. At the end, he immediately said, "Elder Hu, I'm ready." Elder Hu didn't talk nonsense. Seeing this, he immediately squeezed the trick and activated the formation. Buzzing. Moment. A white glow erupted from the dark black spar stone tablet, covering Su Ba's entire body. Su Ba only felt that his mind sank, as if he had come to a kaleidoscope world, and he felt dizzy, off the field. Elder Hu looked at this scene indifferently, his eyes very casual. However, at the moment when the white glow from the dark black spar stone steel enveloped Su Ba, it can be seen to the naked eye that a group of red light emerged from the bottom of the stone tablet, and the red light was flourishing, and it broke through 3 grids in the stone tablet in an instant. Elder Hu's eyes moved slightly. This kid broke through the 3 bars so quickly. It seems that the strength of the soul is still, it's not over yet. The red light skyrocketed again, breaking through 5 bars. I go. Elder Hu's eyelids twitched fiercely, a little uneasy. 5 bars of soul strength, excellent qualifications. Pick 1 in 1,000 miles. This formation is still in operation, which means it is not the limit of this kid's soul power. Could it be? Next second. The red light continued to move up quickly, and came directly to the 7th square. Wipe. Elder whose body was shocked, his mouth opened wide, and the light color on his face completely disappeared. 7 grids of soul power strength. Be equal to yourself, there is no one-of-a-kind qualification. Boom. In the end, the red light suddenly shined brightly, even overshadowing the white light of the formation. This is. Elder who jumped up in shock, staring at the scene in front of him with astonishment, as if he couldn't believe it was true. In front of him, the dark black spar stone monument of 9 grids was completely lit up, and brilliant red light filled the entire stone monument, exuding an unparalleled dazzling brilliance. My mother. Beyond the 9th grade, a peerless posture. Elder who was dumbfounded, his eyes were dull, and he muttered to himself, next up. Elder who regained his senses, looking at Su-Ba in the white light, his eyes suddenly became extremely hot. Chapter 57 Apprenticeship, Elder who is overjoyed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The upper limit of the rank of an alchemist has a great relationship with soul power. Although the day after tomorrow, you can improve your soul power by cultivating soul power exercises, but soul power exercises are rare, and the increase is limited, which is far less important than natural soul power. For example, Hu Danqing was born with a 7th grade soul power strength, and he has practiced soul power exercises for decades, but he has not yet reached the 8th grade. Even though the alchemy technique is excellent and can be called the number 1 in the Funwu kingdom, due to the limitation of talent, he can only reluctantly refine the 9th grade elixirs, but Su-Ba is different. Beyond the strength of the soul force of the 9th rank, it is completely possible to refine the 9th rank medicine pill, or even the 10th rank. This level of medicinal pills, I am afraid that the acquired realm powerhouse will have to break his head. Xuanhuan can do it. He even recommended such a natural super alchemy disciple to the old man. No wonder the 4-star peak let him enter the inner palace. Elder who raised his eyebrows and smiled. He was originally impatient with Su-Ba, but he had long since thrown it out of the sky. At this time, because the rays of light converged, the formation stopped, and Su-Ba also woke up from the kaleidoscope world. Shaking his head, he quickly regained consciousness. Elder who, how is it, am I qualified? Su-Ba turned his head to look at the dark black spar stone tablet, because the formation stopped, so he couldn't see anything. You are qualified, your soul power talent is really good. Hu Danqing smiled and looked at Su-Ba Dao. At this moment, Su-Ba clearly felt the change in Elder whose attitude towards him. It seems that his soul power should indeed be able to. Su-Ba understands it in his heart. Then are you willing to accept me as a disciple now? Su-Ba straight to the point. Yes, of course I do, old man Hu Danqing, the most famous 8th grade alchemy master in Funwu country, follow me to learn, and you are guaranteed to reach my height soon, and be admired by thousands of people. Hu Danqing hurriedly spoke, and also showed his status and strength, for fear that Su-Ba would suddenly regret it, although it was a little strange why Elder who was so enthusiastic all of a sudden. Su-Ba nodded and gave Hu Danqing a big gift. Su-Ba pays a visit to master. Okay, my disciple is free. Elder who was overjoyed and quickly stepped forward to help Su-Ba up. Su-Ba, you are holding these things. There are some resources for cultivation, as well as a daquan of alchemy materials. After you go back, after you have reviewed and recited the daquan of alchemy materials, you will come back to the teacher to guide you in alchemy. Saying that, Elder who threw a low-grade storage ring to Su-Ba, and mentioned it casually. Remember to keep up with the cultivation base. When refining high-quality medicinal herbs in the future, the concentration of true essence in the body must be sufficient. Su-Ba nodded, and then his mind connected to the lower-grade storage ring, almost without being dazzled. I saw that in the storage ring, in addition to a thick book of medicinal materials, the rest were a lot of stones shining bright blue. A lot of low-grade real essence stones. I go. This is a rough count, I am afraid it is no less than 500 low-grade true essence stones. If he remembered it well, Yunmeng Inner Palace disciples seem to be paid 50 low-grade true essence stones a month. This cheap master is too arrogant. he gave so much when he just became a teacher. Only then did Su Ba realize that the alchemist's family was rich. Why would he say that? Okay, Su Ba, if there's nothing wrong, you can go back. I'll be waiting for good news in Dan Pavilion. Elder, who was very satisfied with the surprised look on Su Ba's face, and then looked at Su Ba's kind words. Well, I see. Su Ba nodded, took the storage ring, said goodbye to Elder Hu and left the Pill Pavilion secret room. Chapter 58. Are you looking for a lottery? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, by the way, after the disciples of the Outer Palace entered the Yunmeng Inner Palace for the first time, I remember that the Jade Slip stated that they can go to the second floor of the Gongwu Pavilion to choose a practice method or martial arts, which is considered a benefit. Su Ba, who had just walked out of the Pill Pavilion, suddenly remembered something, and his footsteps paused slightly. Disciples from the Outer Palace can go to the Gongwu Pavilion once when they enter the Inner Palace for the first time, and after that, they can go to the Gongwu Pavilion to select them once every 3 months. Su Ba took out the Jade Slip, looked at the map of Wufu inside, and found that the main hall of Pill Pavilion and Gongwu Pavilion were not far away. Okay, since it's close, then go to Gongwu Pavilion to choose a martial art and then talk about it. After looking for directions, Su Ba immediately stepped forward and walked out. Being able to enter the second floor of the martial arts pavilion means that at least one can obtain a martial skill of the highest grade, and even a martial skill of the mysterious rank. Now if it is not a special exercise, the general exercise is useless to me who has practiced the 9 Yang divine exercise. In terms of martial arts, the Great Wilderness Demon Cudgel has already been completed, but the Great Wilderness Stick is only a small success, and it is still a little short of success, so the martial arts can also be slowed down. There is only one chance to choose, so just choose a movement technique. After all, the bonus of a clever movement technique to a warrior's strength is no less than that of a martial arts technique. On the way to Gongwu Pavilion, Su Ba had already thought about what he wanted to choose. Soon Su Ba came to Gongwu Pavilion. The door was the same as before, and there was an old white-haired man with a withered face sitting there, his eyes slightly closed as if he was taking a nap. However, as soon as Su Ba approached, he stretched out his old hands like dead branches like lightning. Knowing the rules, Su Ba handed the old man the blue waist card on his waist, and the old man reached out and stroked it slightly, as if some information appeared in the waist card. Allow that. The old man handed the blue waist card to Su Ba, said lightly, and then closed his eyes again and took a nap. Su Ba slightly respectfully bowed to the old man, and then stepped into the Gongwu Pavilion. This old man looked like he was about to die, and he looked like he was old-fashioned, but Su Ba had a faint hunch that this old man was not easy. This feeling became clearer after his soul power had been greatly improved twice. After bowing, Su Ba stepped into the Gongwu Pavilion. What he didn't know was that the moment he turned around, the old man who had closed his eyes suddenly opened his eyes again, and the turbid eyes became transparent. Seeing Su Ba's back shadow flickering in his eyes, he muttered to himself. Isn't this the one-star mid-stage kid a month ago? Good guy. Now the cultivation base actually has a 4-star peak. Moreover, this kid just looked at me for a while, and I actually have a faint look that I want to be seen through by him. Such a keen perception. This kind of soul power is probably transcendent. Amazing. Yunmeng Wufu is afraid that after Qin Jiuyue, there will be another enchanting character. At this time, on the second floor of the Gongwu Pavilion, Su Ba had already selected the movement technique and martial skill he wanted, Thunderlight Illusory Movement. Thunderlight Phantom Step, the high-grade Xuanjie. The movement of the movement is like light and electricity. It can be transformed into a clone to confuse the enemy. Practiced to a high level, the speed is as fast as electric light, and the phantom is divided into 3 paths. Good. Compared with the movement technique of long-distance rushing, Su Ba is still more focused on this type of movement technique that tends to be more practical for the time being. The high-grade Xian-level movement technique is also the second-tier movement technique, the highest grade and the most difficult to cultivate. Ordinary genius disciples who practice high-grade Xuanjie movements may not be able to get started within a few months. However, Su Ba is not worried. When there is a chance, he will naturally choose the best. He has the means to improve his understanding, and he is not afraid that he will not be able to learn this lightning phantom step in a short time. just when Su Ba extracted the secret book and turned around to leave, a figure just strode towards the corner. Boom! Su Ba and the visitor collided with each other. Su Ba didn't move, but the visitor took a few steps back. Who doesn't have long eyes, is it looking for a draw? A gloomy and stern shout echoed in vain in the second-floor martial arts pavilion. Su Ba's eyes narrowed instantly. Chapter 59 The 28th, Yuan Tao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In front, standing in front of Su Ba was a tall, thin, cold-tempered young man. The left hand is holding a slender narrow knife, and a trace of sharp breath constantly overflows from the gap of the scabbard. At this time, the young man also saw Su Ba standing in front of him, and said with a gloomy expression, "Boy, it was you who bumped into Lao Tzu just now, didn't you? Give you 10 seconds, kneel down, kowtow, and apologize." "Are you sure you're talking to me?" Su Ba said expressionlessly. "Yeah, when you stand in front of Lao Tzu, I won't tell you, who else will I tell you?" The young man felt a little amused, and immediately saw Su Ba's cultivation level, raised his brows, and said strangely, "Boy, you are very courageous. The 4-star peak dares to go to the place where the inner palace disciples can go on the second floor." And this time, many inner palace disciples who had carefully selected martial arts exercises on the second floor heard the sound of conflict and came over one after another. Seeing the two people who seemed to be facing each other at the moment, some people can't help but exclaim, "I'm going, isn't that Yuan Tao, who is ranked 28th on the list of outstanding talents? Is that 4-star peak kid provoking Yuan Tao? Isn't that courting death? What's the situation? How come the disciple of the 4-star peak came to the second floor and was caught by the elders of the Gomwu Pavilion? I'm afraid the punishment is not light. I rely on it. He also carries the blue waist card of the inner palace disciple, which is my dazzling eyes. Yet, don't you know, this young man in black is called Su Ba. It seems that he entered the inner palace from the outer palace in an exceptional manner. Not long ago, he beat Lu Niu, who was ranked 33rd on the list of outstanding people with a high-profile punch. It's him. God! Is he Su Ba? He looks very arrogant. He just defeated Lu Niu, and now he is provoking Yuan Tao. Oh, so you are that Su Ba. No wonder your physical strength is good. I was caught off guard and took a few steps back." Yuan Tao's face showed a hint of surprise, and then sneered, "But, don't you think that I will be the same as Lu Niu's trash? Be familiar with me, and quickly do as I said just now. It's obvious that you don't have long eyes when you walk, and you bump into it, and you blame me." Su Ba's mouth showed a hint of sigh, and he looked at Yuan Tao lightly with his hands on his back and said, "Yuan Tao is the 28th person on the list of outstanding people, right? It's very good. Since you meet it, then come out and die." You. After speaking, Su Ba strode away from the second floor of Gomwu Pavilion. Good, good, good. If you want to die, I will fulfill you. Yuan Tao sneered again and again, a cold sternness flashed in his eyes, and he followed with great strides. They still know that fighting is forbidden in the Gongfa Pavilion. Seeing that the two quickly walked out of the Gomwu Pavilion one after the other, the crowd on the second floor immediately became a sensation. Wow, Su Ba is awesome. He doesn't stop at all. He just defeated Lu Niu, and he's going to kill Yuan Tao again. This is a ruthless man, but although Yuan Tao is a 5-star peak like Lu Niu, his strength is not comparable to Lu Niu. Every time he rises in the top talent list, his strength is very different. Quick, go have a look. Yuan Tao is going to teach others to be human. The crowd was in a commotion, and they ran towards the outside of the Gomwu Pavilion. Some people didn't even choose the martial arts and skills. If there is a good show to watch, watch it first. Soon, there was a large open space outside Gomwu Pavilion. Su Ba and Yuan Tao were facing each other at a distance, surrounded by a large group of inner palace disciples who were ready to watch the show. Boy, I'll let you know what will happen if you offend me. Yuan Tao looked at Su Ba Dao with a gloomy expression. With an indifferent expression on his face, Su Ba slowly stretched out his hand, in front of everyone, facing Yuan Tao, thumb down and pressed down hard. Weak chicken. Chapter 60 Mood, I'm sorry I have it too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Weak chicken, that the faint words came from Su Ba's mouth. Arrogant, domineering. An angry Yuan Tao's face turned green. Slot, boy, let's see how I teach you a lesson today, Yuan Tao shouted angrily. The narrow knife in his hand came out of the box, the sharp blade swept through the air with a heart-pounding sound of the blade. Yuan Tao's body moved, and the whole person turned into a phantom and charged towards Su Ba. Boom! The rolling momentum erupted from Yuan Tao's body, and the sword light was like a tide. It is also a 5-star peak. This Yuan Tao is at least 3 times stronger than Lun Yo. During the offensive, the sharp sword chi that spilled out from all directions made the expressions of the disciples who were watching the battle changed slightly. So strong. Yuan Tao's swordsmanship has improved again. That is, although Yuan Tao has a cold personality, he has a good talent for the Tao of the blade. The low-level martial arts white moon knife has already been practiced to the top. I don't know, can Su Ba be able to stop him? It should be. After all, he is a master who defeated Lun Yo. He can't even block Yuan Tao. Look, Su Ba raised his fist, someone suddenly exclaimed. Everyone is looking for the sound. Seeing that Su Ba's face was calm, he squeezed his right fist and slammed forward. Jiuyang Shundong, the 5 acupoints are activated. The 24,000 genes of strength all exploded. Boom! An unparalleled fist chi rushed out from Su Ba's fist, and the hob chi in front of him was directly divided into 2 halves by a punch. Damn it, it's awesome, no wonder Su Ba was able to defeat Lun Yo. The power of this punch is probably the power of 2 elephants and 4 horses. Halo, is the stick on the back of Su Ba's back a decoration? Could it be that he trained his body and used his fists? I heard that Su Ba told Lun Yo before that he was afraid of killing him with a stick, so it was useless. Lying. Slot, pretending. I think so too. Haha, Su Ba, your strength is really good, but if you rely on this, you will be dead today. Yuan Tao laughed wildly, and then his eyes became hideous in vain. He raised the narrow knife in his hand high and slashed at Su Ba. Crystal, that this is an incomparably splendid sword light, and its power has increased several times compared to the previous sword. An inexplicable momentum rose from Yuan Tao's body, and the sword light was magnificent. The onlookers instantly widened their eyes and exclaimed in exclamation. The prototype of the artistic conception. It is the prototype of the artistic conception. Yuan Tao didn't expect to realize a little bit of sword intent from the Baiyu Dao, which was a great achievement in his practice. It's amazing. This knife is enough to knock down the average 6-star mid-stage warrior. Su Ba is finished. Everyone was amazed, and then looked at Su Ba, full of pity and ridicule. Boy, don't think that your strength is great. In my eyes, Lun Yo is like a spicy chicken. You think that you will be able to run wild if you defeat Lun Yo. I call you a man. Something beyond your own power. Do you know what martial arts artistic conception is? Yuan Tao sneered. Next second. The terrifying sword chi had already reached the top of Su Ba's head. Seeing that Su Ba was about to be engulfed by the sword energy, everyone couldn't help but turn their heads, at this time. Martial arts artistic conception. You, Baiyu's sword intent, who has not yet entered the beginning, dare to shout at me. Su Ba spoke lightly, made. Yuan Tao was furious, and then he saw Su Ba pull out the black iron rod from behind and slowly smash it towards him. Xiaocheng, the great wilderness. A heavy and simple atmosphere rose from Su Ba's body. Everyone just felt as if there was a vast wasteland in front of them. Between heaven and earth, in the center of the wasteland, an iron pillar with a length of hundreds of feet was printed into the eyes. I feel like my own person has suddenly become smaller. The great wilderness cudgel entered Xiaocheng from the entry, and the taiju of Tongtian skyrocketed from 100 zhang artistic conception to a few hundred zhang, almost trying to pierce the clouds. This is. The mood is small. The audience was shocked, and stood on the spot.